Ndewo. Ndewo is an Igbo Nigerian word that means long life to all of you. And that is what I hope and pray for each and every one of you today. I'm Dr. Uwa, and I'd like to welcome my very special guest today,
Queen Mother, Dr. Oshundara.
It is indeed an honor and a pleasure to have you here. And you look marvelous as you always do.
Thank you.
So I'd like to welcome all of you to Not in the Name of God, sponsored by Guardianism, Chiism. Guardianism and Chiism are synonymous. It represents a synthesis of African spiritual tradition of direct communication with God without passing through any medium. We understand that every human being, consciously or unconsciously, looks up to something above them as their source of inspiration. And that something is the Almighty God. And as a result, we have to understand that every human being has the right to go to God without, however they understand it, without bitterness and without quarrels. That is what our spirituality dictates, requires us to do and believe. And so we'd like to welcome you and have you share this hour with us. Queen Mother Oshundara, one of the greatest things, I think, one of the greatest reasons why society grows, why a society does well, is that it embraces itself. It embraces all that is within its cultural vineyard.
Yes.
Communities and societies that don't do that, they don't survive. I mean, you look at historically, if you look at organizations, countries that have literally disappeared, they disappeared when they stopped being who they are. Now, some other things may have come into play, but a lot of it has to do with them now continuing to hold on to whatever held the fabric of the community together. And today I want us to focus on Africa. You know, we are Africans, and we got to talk about what's going on, sister. What is going on in Africa? Well, I'm going to share something with you in terms of describing the situation I see in Africa. And you know what? We may rub some people raw today, but that's okay. You know, truth hurts, they say. Sometimes we have to hear the truth about ourselves. Because if you know about yourself, if you know what the problem is, then you can solve it. If you don't know what the problem is, you can't solve it. So I'm going to start with this, and I'll let you talk about it a little bit. When you think about Africa, with all the resources we have, we continue to be the worst continent in terms of human rights. Why do you think this is the case?
Well, I think that Africa has been influenced from other outside entities, and I think sometimes the superpower countries, they put their foot on top of the neck of Africa, and I think we have to look back into our past and know what happened to our people in the beginning, when Africa was first. You know, going back to organized governments, like in Egypt, you know, the pharaohs and the queens and how they survived. I think our spirituality is very important. When we melt into other people's cultures, it's important that we all identify with our own culture, but when we forget our own, we put our own behind us and pick up another man's culture, and we eat another man's food and we eat another man's way of life and forget our own past, then that's when we disappear as a people.
And that, just so we understand it, we're not saying do not, see, culture is dynamic.
Yes.
Culture is dynamic. I mean, no culture exists. As a matter of fact, culture is a melting of different ways of life.
Yes.
Okay? But once you have one that's identified as your culture, all right?
Yes.
And over the centuries, it's been passed from one generation to the other.
Yes.
Then you get to a certain point and you decide, all right, we don't want it anymore. We're going to do something different. Ultimately, what you're doing is you are, by your own desire, you know, even though, and I have to say this, I do understand, obviously, that the Europeans came into Africa, and we lost a lot of Africans through slavery. But I think that we have to also hold ourselves responsible for what's going on. You know, you cannot talk about what people are doing to you when you continue to allow it to be done. At this stage, this is 21st century. At some point, we as Africans